This is Advancing Your Business, Your People, and Your Legacy podcast, where we discuss all things that impact the growth, value, and sustainability of privately held businesses. This podcast is produced by the Rawls Group, Business Succession Planners, and I am Kendall Rawls, your moderator. In this series, focused on Where Are All the Leaders, Aicha Bascaro of the American Franchise Academy and Jeff Bannon of the Rawls Group will tackle unique challenges multi-unit franchisees face in recruiting, developing, and retaining top talent. This series covers a variety of discussion topics, so after you finish this installment, be sure to check back in to listen to the remainder of the conversation. Here we go. We're going to get started on the first question. Jeff, what are some of the primary challenges business owners are facing in their organizations related to talent?
Hi, Kendall. Good morning. I look at the challenges with most businesses at this point in two categories. One is the retention of young talent. How do we keep our good people and or bring them in the door? And two is, how do we address the aging out of successful leaders in the organization today? So in terms of retaining young employees, there's a lot going on, particularly in the franchise industry. A lot of hiring going on instead of recruiting, and that's common in most organizations. When you do a self-assessment in the organization, we tend to look at people based on two criteria. One is, are they performing, and two is how's their attitude and behavior. And when you assess what kind of people are in the organization down this, we can identify essentially four categories of people. There's the warm bodies. Those people are the ones that you just needed to fill a spot. They came in the door. They had a heartbeat. You could fog a mirror with an application. You said, come on aboard. And they neither perform and typically don't really carry a great attitude. The next level is the cheerleaders. And those are the people who have a great attitude, behavior, rah, but they don't really produce any results or perform very well. And they're typically hard to fire, those types of people. And then you shift over to the people who are performing, and you either get what we would call a corporate terrorist, someone who gets the results, but they can do it in a way that's going to get a business owner in trouble. And finally, you have your rock stars, or the people that you're trying to find. And those are the people that bring results with a good attitude and behavior. And the truth is, without a concerted recruiting effort, you typically hire those warm bodies, cheerleaders, and will get into terrorists. And in that process of hiring, even when there is a formal application process where they're looking, many owners typically look at what someone's past performance has been versus what their attitude and behaviors are. And they hire based on the performance and then fire them ultimately because of attitudes and behavior. So there's a lot of dynamics that happen in that initial process of bringing someone on. And the other thing that compounds this is if you already have good people in your organization, competitors know it. And unless there's a communication of upward mobility to talented people, they're always going to be drawn to greener pastures. As it relates to the aging leaders in the organization, and as a blanket statement, I'd say that the boomers are the baby boomer generation is starting to age out. The Gen X isn't necessarily enough to go around to replace everybody, and the millennials generally aren't ready to fill those holes. So in the organizations we work with, every job description at an executive level comes with a criteria that they train their successors. And eventually, if you don't have succession as part of that job description with your current leaders, then ultimately that business will need to get sold. And that's been our experience for the most part.
Great. Hey, Aicha, how are you doing today?
Hello. Great. Good to be here.
Great. Oh, good. So what about from your perspective?
Something that I have seen a lot in the industry and really in the economy in general is that we have very low unemployment currently. And that is causing a lot of challenges in the industry because if you don't have enough people to choose from, obviously that's when you make sometimes poor decisions on who you're going to hire. And to compound that, now you have a high turnover in the franchise world because, as you know, we are a first job industry. And so not only do we not have enough people to choose from so that we can have the right people in place, but with the high level of turnover that we experience, we are constantly hiring and looking. And so that, I believe, is one of the primary challenges that business owners face right now. The lack of choice for people that they can hire. And then on top of that, the turnover that they experience due to people moving on to the next job. And so they find themselves spending an inordinate amount of time recruiting and interviewing and hiring, only for them to then lose the people soon thereafter. And so the investment of time and effort and money to do that is tremendous, and it takes them away from being able to focus on their leadership and operations and their business. And so that's what I see is, the primary challenge today.
Advancing Your Business, Your People, and Your Legacy is produced by the Rawls Group and hosted by me, Kendall Rawls. Thank you to Aicha Bascaro with the American Franchise Academy and Jeff Bannon, a succession planner with the Rawls Group, for their expertise and content contribution to this series. You can hear more of this discussion on the Rawls Group's website at www.rawlsgroup.com. Thanks so much.